All right, welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about a team that is probably not going to make the playoffs. So far, we've done, I think, 4 of these videos, and 3 of the teams we talked about are teams that I think will likely be in the mix in the playoffs. And unfortunately, as much as I would like to see the San Jose Sharks do well this season and sneak into like a wild card spot, pretty unlikely, right? I think it's pretty safe to say that it's probably not going to happen, but anything is possible, of course. When it comes to the Sharks, I think that they're definitely building a team that in due time is going to be very competitive. And I really like the way that they're kind of designing their roster as opposed to, let's say, like Chicago. Chicago's in another not so good spot. They've had a few rough years now, and there's some hope, but there's also a lot of reasons to look at Chicago and be like, oh my god, this doesn't look like it's going to get much better. But when it comes to San Jose, I feel like they're in a better position. And obviously, when you talk about the Sharks, you kind of have to focus on the younger players there. You obviously have Celebrini, Smith. In net, you got Askarov, which I think is going to be very interesting. But really, those two players are going to be huge for their future, and it's going to run through those two guys. And around them, they're building right now. What I like that they're doing is they're putting in some pretty good vets to kind of help them along the way. Sorry, I didn't mention Will Eklund, but Eklund's another great young player that they have there. Toffoli had a great season last year. I think he can probably replicate it. I think he likes it in San Jose, and I don't see any reason why he won't be able to have another successful year there. I think Wenberg is good on that second line with Smith. Got Adam Gaudette there. Then third line, you're looking at Gaudreau, Skinner. Now Jeff Skinner coming in from Edmonton, and Kurashev. This line, like, I don't mind. I don't mind that San Jose is bringing in some vets because you need these types of guys to kind of show the other players the ropes a little bit and get them accustomed to the league and that type of thing. These aren't guys that are going to help you win a Stanley Cup. They're probably not going to get you in the playoffs, but it's important to have these types of players around a young core to help kind of guide them along. And that's where Chicago's been kind of lacking in that sense, and their vets haven't been good enough. They haven't been showing the rope for some of the younger guys there, and that's why I think you've seen some of the problems that you have in Chicago. But San Jose looks like, and I love the Ryan Reeves ad. I think the Ryan Reeves ad is fantastic. You got Delandria and I want to say it's Ostpachuk. Sorry if I butchered that one. I don't know much about him. But when it comes, I mean, this is all according to Puckpedia. I think this roster will be competitive. They're not gonna wow anybody, but this is a good group that they have that I think will start to kind of show improvement over time. They have a great farm system from what I've seen. A lot of young players on their AHL Barracuda team that should be stepping in soon. And this is a team that, I think give it maybe 2-3 years, you're gonna see a big jump. But it starts with seasons like this, right? You need to have a couple of seasons where maybe you're humbled in a sense, and you're not where you want to be necessarily, but you're learning along the way. And this should be another season where San Jose, is learning more than anything. I honestly, I'm a Ranger fan, but I really do think that I'm starting to like San Jose more, even though they're not good right now. I've always kind of liked San Jose, especially when Thornton and Marlowe and Burns are there. I love that. Even before that with younger Couture, but Couture was awesome. Logan Couture was awesome to watch. It sucks to see that he got injured, and I don't think he's going to be able to play anymore. I'm not sure though what his situation is. But who else do they have there back in the day? San Jose is always like they were fun to watch, and I feel like they're kind of building a team now that's kind of it'll resemble that, like, and they're, I don't know, I've always enjoyed them, and I think I'm gonna be rooting for San Jose this year, even though I know they're not gonna be anywhere near the playoffs. At least they shouldn't be. I mean, it'd be crazy to see them defy expectations, but my prediction is this team will probably be in basically the same position that they were last year. Hopefully, you see some improvement. I I think, I mean, in an ideal world where Anaheim was last year, I think Anaheim finished with something like 80 points. And they were kind of, they were in the mix for a little while, and then it kind of tapered off towards the end of the season. But I think San Jose would absolutely take being in Anaheim's position from last year. They'll take that this year if they can get to that point. But that's not going to be easy. It's easier said than done. But I do think this team is building something good. On defense, you have Ferraro, Liljegren, Klingberg, Orlov. This is a tough one for me here. I'm sorry if I butcher this. Mukhamadullin. I want to say that's how you pronounce his name. Young defenseman, 23. I don't know much about him either. Yeah, I don't know him or Ospachuk. Two tough names there for me. I think I've heard of Mukhamadullin. God, that's a tough name to pronounce. But I think I've heard a little bit about him. I think I want to say that San Jose is pretty high on him. I mean, 2023 should. I have to look him up. I feel like I've heard his name and that there's some excitement there. I'm not 100% though. I don't when I do these videos, I try to be as informed and knowledgeable as possible, but there's some guys that I used to know like everybody in the league. I was like a big nerd. I still am a big nerd if you can't tell when it comes to hockey, but there's some guys that I don't know enough about. But when it comes to the rest of their defense core is actually pretty well traveled. I didn't even realize this. I know they added Orlov, but you have Klingberg in there now. I didn't even know, when did they bring in Klingberg? Did that just happen? That's great. That's really interesting that they did that. You got Leddy, Liljegren, Klingberg, Orlov, Ferraro. This is not an elite defense at all, but that's an NHL level defense. I mean, I don't see why. I mean, that should help them. That should help them keep the games competitive. And then in net, you got Askarov and Nedeljkovic, and obviously there's a whole bunch of hope for Askarov in terms of what he could do. Excuse me, I need some water. There's a whole bunch of hope that he'll be able to be like a real goalie of the future for them, and I definitely think he will be. And maybe he's got that kind of Nabokov vibe to him, and Nedeljkovic should be fine. Honestly, on defense and in net, I mean, they should be okay. It's really offense. I mean, and offensively, I mean, you want to see big question with Celebrini, is he going to have a sophomore slump, or is he going to continue to produce at the level that he did last year, or even elevate? It's so hard at that age. I mean, he's 19, so to expect him to be able to do it again, I mean, maybe he can. I don't know. But, it's tough. It's tough, and a lot. Usually I think the reason that you see the sophomore slump is because that wear and tear, that grind really starts to build up. When that first year, a lot of these guys have so much excitement. They never played in the NHL before, and they're like, oh my God. And now, getting to year two, it's like it's getting a little bit, it's still have that excitement. You're like, yeah, I can't believe I'm in the NHL, but it's I think the grind starts to set in a little bit more, and that's why you see it get a little bit tougher for some guys sometimes in year two. Maybe you don't have the same energy that you did, and I don't know, whatever reason for it, but we'll see with him. I hope he has another good year. I think he can have another good year, and he's obviously a huge part of their future and their now. And Eklund, I don't know how many points Eklund had last year, but I want to say that he kind of had a bit of he didn't do too bad last year. He had 17 goals, 41 assists, 58 points in 77 games. And I think Celebrini was in the 60s, I believe. So. Yeah, Celebrini had 63 points in 70 games. So you want to see both of them healthy. And, Eklund, you'd like to see Eklund. He's a little bit older. Eklund's 22. So you'd like to see Eklund hopefully take another step and maybe get to 65, 70 points. Toffoli was great. I know Toffoli had a really good year. At least he had 30 goals, 54 points, 78 games. Yeah, you'd want to. I mean, I don't know how much you could expect from Toffoli at 33 at this point. You never really know what you're going to get with players in their 30s. If you can get another 25, 30 goals out of Toffoli, I mean, I think they take that and they run with it. And beyond that, Smith, you definitely want to see Will Smith take a step. He had 45 points in 74 games. Hopefully, you want to see like little like incremental improvements. So with Smith, you'd like to see maybe 50, 55 points and hopefully he plays like 80 games, something like that. But I mean, they really got a lot of potential here. I don't know. The bottom six, that third line, like we got Skinner, Gaudreau, Khrushchev. Obviously, you got some players in the press box as well. There's some young guys that come up from the minors or some other vets too. But that third line, part of me, it's all right because you need vets to fill out an NHL roster to be competitive. But I don't know if Skinner. I don't know if Skinner's going to be exactly. I mean, in one sense, it's good that you bring in Jeff Skinner because he was there for at least, I think, just one run, right? One of Edmonton's runs just past season. I don't think he was there the year before. But he wasn't a huge part of it. But he was in the locker room. So there's some good, lessons that you learn from that obviously could benefit San Jose and their young players and all that and teaching them, showing them the ropes and I mean this is it's a young team. It's not a playoff team. It shouldn't be a playoff team. If this team gets in a play, I mean that would be crazy, but it's not a playoff team. And it should be fun to watch. I mean, I think you're watching this team this year if you're a fan of San Jose or you're just interested in San Jose. Really, this is a year about growth and development and hoping to see some of these younger guys take a step and start producing a little bit more and getting more accustomed to the NHL and getting ready to really take this team to where they want it, where management wants it to be and where fans want it to be. So that's what I'd be looking out for this year for San Jose. Shouldn't really be close to the playoff, but if they can get somewhere like Anaheim was last year, I mean that's a win. You get 80 points like that for this team, that would be really a really big deal. So look out for that. I think that's possible. I think that this roster can do that. I don't see why not. It's not going to be easy, but that defense to me is strong enough that it can kind of keep things together. I see some players here are injured. I don't know how long these players are injured. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like anything too crazy, so they should be fine by season start. If that defense is in order, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be competitive. They shouldn't be close in games and giving teams a bit of trouble. Like that. If you start seeing that from San Jose, that's a good. The teams are getting pushed a little bit by them, and when you wouldn't expect it, that's a good sign. And that to me is showing that they're progressing and all that good stuff. But that's my prediction for San Jose for the 25-26 NHL season. Love to know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.